Forge worlds are not factories. They are entire planets sacrificed to production, oceans replaced by coolant reservoirs, mountains hollowed into reactors, billions of workers manufacturing weapons they'll never use for wars they'll never see. And without them, the Imperium collapses within months. There are hundreds of them across the galaxy. These are the most important ones, what they make, what makes them different, and why any of this matters. What a Forge world actually is. The Adeptus Mechanicus controls these planets. They answer to Mars, technically, but in practice, each Forge world is its own civilization, with its own traditions, its own tech heresies, its own interpretation of the Omnissiah's will. A Forge world's relationship with the Imperium is transactional. They supply weapons, vehicles, ships, ammunition. In return, they get protection, resources, and the right to operate by their own rules. The Mechanicus is part of the Imperium, but it is not fully of it. That distinction matters, because it means no two Forge worlds are identical. Mars, the first and the highest. Everything begins here. Mars was colonized during the Dark Age of technology, long before the Emperor unified Terra. By the time he arrived, Mars was already a power in its own right. The deal struck between the Emperor and the Fabricator General, the Treaty of Mars, is what created the Adeptus Mechanicus as an institution. Mars remains the greatest concentration of technological knowledge and industrial capability in the Imperium. Some of its manufactorums have been operating continuously for over 10,000 years. Titans, weapons whose construction methods are only partially understood. Patterns so old that building them requires ritual as much as engineering. When Mars suffered during the Horus Heresy, civil war between Mechanicus factions loyal to Horus and those loyal to the Emperor, it never fully recovered. Some facilities haven't functioned since. Some knowledge was lost in that war and has not been recovered in 10,000 years. Ryza, the plasma specialists. Ryza is generally regarded as one of the most powerful Forge worlds in the Imperium, and it earned that reputation through one specialty: plasma technology. Plasma weapons are dangerous to manufacture and dangerous to use. Ryza's artisans understand them better than anyone. Their plasma cannon output, their refinements to plasma gun design, these are shared across the Imperium, but always traced back to Ryza. Their weapons hit harder than most equivalents, but everyone who carries one knows the same truth. Plasma kills enemies, and sometimes the person holding it. The planet was nearly destroyed during the 41st millennium when Orc Wars hit it in succession. It survived, damaged, reduced, but functional. The Imperium could not afford to lose it. Graia, the Forge world that refused to die. Graia produced titans, Skitarii forces, and vast quantities of war material, important despite not matching the scale of Mars or Ryza. What made it notable was what happened to it. Orc invasion, chaos incursion. The planet came under assault so severe that its tech priests activated warp shield arrays across the entire surface. And when that wasn't enough, they moved it. The event is called the Warp Trek. Graia's Mechanicus physically relocated the planet through the warp to escape destruction. Not a tactical retreat, not a defensive line. They moved a planet. Other Forge worlds are known for what they produce. Graia became known for what it refused to lose. Stygies VIII, the one that asks questions. Here's where it gets interesting. Most Forge worlds follow orthodoxy. The Omnissiah is the machine god. You follow the cult Mechanicus. You don't experiment beyond authorized parameters. Stygies VIII does not fully operate this way. Stygies VIII has a reputation for studying Xenos technology. Not destroying it, studying it. They capture alien devices, They analyze them. They extract principles. This is technically heresy by Mechanicus doctrine. They have faced repeated scrutiny from more orthodox factions of the Mechanicus, but investigations have never resulted in their destruction or formal condemnation. Officially, they investigate alien technology to better destroy it. Unofficially, few people believe that's the whole story. Metalica, quantity above all. If Ryza is quality and Stygies is experimentation, Metalica is quantity, endless quantity. There is no natural surface left, no soil, no water, no organic material of any kind. The entire planet is machinery metal, over metal, layer over layer. The industrial roar it produces is not a metaphor. A person arriving without auditory dampeners or cybernetic implants would be deafened within minutes. Possibly worse, when the Imperial Guard needs resupply on a front that's been active for a decade, Metalica pattern equipment is what fills those requisitions. A worker born on Metalica will spend their entire life within one production district. They'll know one product line. They may never see another part of their own planet. That's not exceptional for a Forge world. That's standard. Lucius, the planet that rebuilds itself. Lucius is not just self-repairing, it's hollow. The entire manufacturing infrastructure exists inside the planet. Factory districts, carved into the interior, running along the inner surface of an artificial megastructure. At its core burns the Infernus, an artificial sun that powers everything within. Orbital bombardment barely registers. You can't destroy what's buried inside a planet-sized shell. And if something inside does get damaged, automated reconstruction systems begin rebuilding it, destroy a district, and the systems eventually rebuild it. The Mechanicus of Lucius treats all of this as sacred, evidence of the Omnissiah's design embedded into the planet's structure itself. Other Forge worlds find it unsettling. The distinction matters less than the practical result. Lucius may be the single hardest target to permanently destroy in the entire Imperium. Deimos, the Forge that moves most Forge worlds, are planets. Deimos is a moon, specifically one of Mars's moons, relocated to Titan during the Horus Heresy to aid in the creation of the Grey Knights, the secretive chapter dedicated to fighting demonic incursion. The technologies used to move it remain poorly understood by much of the modern Mechanicus. Deimos manufactures a wide range of space marine wargear and vehicles, and its close association with the Grey Knights makes it significant beyond its output alone. The machinery on Deimos includes equipment maintained through ritual rather than engineering understanding. That's the quiet crisis running through every Forge world. Knowledge decay. The Imperium cannot easily make new things. It struggles to maintain what it already has. What all of this means: the Forge worlds are the reason the Imperium can fight on a million fronts simultaneously. Without them, there are no tanks, no guns, no ships, no ammunition. Every Imperial Guard regiment, every Space Marine chapter, every Navy vessel traces its hardware back to one of these planets. And every one of those planets is ancient, partially damaged, running on knowledge that degrades by the century. The Mechanicus believes preservation is safer than innovation. Given the catastrophes that have accompanied forbidden research throughout Imperial history, many would struggle to argue otherwise. Every Forge world is a monument to a civilization that has forgotten how much it once knew and survives only because the machines still remember.